Okay, so I got my slot cut, and it's all cut down to the clay, the whole length of the slot, and now all that's left to do is to come over here and clean up this tail pile. You can see the slot there, and you just run right down your tail pile. Pick your tail pile up. One of the advantages of doing the slot dozing like this, when you're on ground that you've ripped, you travel back and forth on that ground, you're recompacting ground that you've already ripped. And if you start by pushing way in the back, you'll be traveling over the top of that ground that you've already ripped, and you'll just be recompacting it. And with slot dozing, you don't do that. You don't ever travel over that ground. The first time you get on it is when you're going to pick it up. Another advantage of slot dozing is that you work the full width of the cutting edge of that blade. You work off of a side, just off a side wall, you're only working one corner of the blade, and you're not really carrying the full capacity of the blade, nowhere near full capacity of the blade. The dozer's designed to work the full width of that blade with even pressure all the way across. And when you're working off of a corner like that, off a side wall, it side loads your blade really bad. It puts a lot of pretty heavy lateral pressure on the blade, and really stresses things out. It stresses out all your joints and everything on the blade. Plus, if you're working off a side wall, that side edge, you're cutting with the side edge of your blade, and that side edge of your blade is not designed to cut with. It is designed to hold dirt in your blade, and it's only the cutting edge that is designed to really cut the dirt. And when you're working off a side wall, you're actually wearing away the metal on the actual framework of the blade, and you will ruin a blade, not just your cutting edge, but actually ruin the body of the blade itself. Can be destroyed by working off a sidewall. And so a lot of places you go to work, if you're working at a pretty big dirt operation, if they see you working off a sidewall, you'll be fired. They won't allow that. They do not want you side loading the blade like that, and they do not want you wearing out the framework of the blade. Once you get everything picked up, once you get all these tailings picked up, then you move over and you rip your next slot and go ahead and start cutting your next slot. It's the quickest way to move a large amount of dirt when you don't need compaction, you don't need to have it real smooth, spread out. You just need to get the dirt out of the way so you can get to the material you want underneath. this pile will either be picked up by scrapers later on, or after we're done digging the clay out from underneath here, we'll push it back over the top of this clay. But for now, it can just sit there. It doesn't need to be compacted or spread out or anything. But the thing to remember, keep in mind when you're removing dirt with a dozer, is to use the full width of the blade, use the maximum capacity of this blade. If this, D8 is really rated for 8 yards or 8 or 9 yards, I can't remember what they're rated for, you can carry a lot more than that by slot dozing. By working off the sidewall, you'll carry a lot less than that, and it'll take you twice as long to do the same amount of work. If you're working on a sidewall, plus you'll ruin the blade, ruin the framework on the dozer, and maybe even get yourself fired from a job. That's it. It's cleaned up. The whole work area is cleaned up and ready to go, ready to cut the next slot.